are a lot of different tactics that a manipulator can use in their arsenal, and the ones they choose to go with will often vary based on what they want to get out of the situation and the person they are dealing with. Be aware that a manipulator may choose to use more than one of these techniques with the same person to ensure they get what they want. Some of the big signs that you can watch out for when it comes to manipulation includes 1. Having the home court advantage. Someone who is being manipulative will insist that they and the victim meet in a place where the manipulator is going to have more control and more dominance. This could include spaces like the office of the manipulator, their home, their car, or some other space where they either own it or have familiarity with it, and the victim does not. They may choose to invite the victim over to their home to discuss something. This may seem hospitable, but it just allows the manipulator a chance to have the upper hand. 2. Will let the victim speak first. Many salespeople and other manipulators will do this when they meet with their victim. By asking you some probing and general questions, the manipulator can establish a baseline, giving them some insights into your thinking, and then they can look at your weaknesses and move on from there. They want you to talk first so they have their baseline and can move on from there. 3. Manipulating the facts. There are a lot of ways that the manipulator can do this to get what they want. They may blame the victim for things, be two-faced, excuse-making, and lying. There could be a lot of deformation of the truth. And many manipulators are good at strategically disclosing only specific information and withholding some of the critical information that needs to be present to ensure that the victim can make the right decisions based on the situation. They can also use understatement, exaggeration, and a one-sided bias of the issues. 4. Overwhelming their victim with a lot of facts. Some manipulators are going to use something that is known as intellectual bullying. This is presuming to be an expert and the person who is the most knowledgeable, at least out of the two, about an area. They're going to take advantage of their victim by imposing alleged facts, data, and statistics that the victim is probably going to know very little about. By presuming the expert level of power over you, the manipulator is hoping that they can be more convincing when it is time to push through their agenda. Of course, there are those who will work with this tactic because it lets them feel like they are the intellectual superior in the conversation. 5. Overwhelm the victim with red tape and procedures. Some manipulators are going to work with bureaucracy, such as laws and bylaws, committees, methods, and paperwork, to make sure they stay in power and that the life of the victim will become more difficult. It is often going to be used to evade scrutiny, hide any weaknesses and flaws, and to delay the finding of any facts. 6. Showing negative emotions and raising the voice. Some manipulators are going to raise their voices during the discussion to become more aggressive. The idea here is that if they can be loud enough or show enough negative emotions, the victim is going to back off and give in to what they want. Strong body language can be used here to help increase the impact. 7. They are working with negative surprises. Some manipulators can work with negative surprises because this will put their victim off balance, giving the manipulator the advantage. That can range from lowballing in a situation for negotiations to a sudden profession that the manipulator won't be able to deliver in the way that they promised. This information is often going to come without any warning, so you won't have time to counter their move. From here, the manipulator is going to ask you to concede even more before they will continue with the work. 8. Negative humor to poke at any weaknesses that you have. Sometimes a manipulator is going to work with critical remarks and then will disguise these as sarcasm or fun so that you feel less secure. They can talk about your appearance, your credentials, your background, and more. When they make you look and feel bad, the manipulator gets the upper hand. 9. Limiting the amount of time that you get to make decisions. This is something that can happen in negotiations and sales often. The manipulator is going to put a lot of pressure on the victim to make a decision, hurrying them along so they don't get enough time to decide. By applying the right amount of tension and then control onto the victim, the manipulator is hoping that the victim will crack and give in to the demands. 10. The silent treatment. There are times when the manipulator is going to work with the silent treatment to get what they want. When the manipulator deliberately stops responding to emails, text messages, reasonable calls, and other inquiries, they are going to presume the power because they make you wait. This will place some doubt and some uncertainty into your mind. This is a head game where the manipulator is going to use silence as their leverage. 11. Pretend ignorance. This is a tactic that is like playing dumb. When the manipulator tries to pretend that they don't understand what you want, they're going to make you take on what is their responsibility and will make you break a sweat. Some grown-ups may use them when they don't want to complete a certain obligation, or when there is something that they want to hide. 12. Guilt baiting. This could be a lot of different things. It could be holding the victim responsible for the failures, unhappiness, success, or happiness of the manipulator. It could be targeting the soft spot of the victim. It could also be unreasonable blaming. When the manipulator targets the emotional weakness of the victim, the manipulator is going to coerce the victim into giving in to their demands and their requests, no matter how unreasonable these are. 13. Victimhood. This is when the manipulator tries to make themselves look like they are a prominent victim. They will exaggerate their issues, their health issues, and more. They do this to elicit favor and sympathy from those around them. They like to play that they are the martyr, powerless and weak. The purpose of doing this is to exploit the goodwill of the victim and their sense of obligation and duty, so that they are more likely to feel bad for the manipulator and what to help out. Manipulators have a lot of tools at their disposal to get the victim to do what they want. This can be hard to break because the manipulator is often really good at disguising their intentions and more. And when they can use a few of these techniques together, they are more likely to get what they need or what they want.